Hello and welcome to History with Jackson. Today is the last episode of our Pope series, and in this last episode we'll be looking at Pope Adrian IV, or the English Pope. I really hope you've enjoyed this series. I've really enjoyed researching and learning more about the popes, and hopefully you will enjoy this episode. So let's just jump into it. Who was Pope Adrian? Pope Adrian was born Nicholas Breakspear in Hertfordshire in around 1100. We know that he grew up in St Albans and he had tried to join a monastery in St Albans but was rejected. Now, we don't know much about his early life, but what we do know is that he went to France at a very early age to study law. And whilst in France, he joined the Canons of St Rufus in Avignon, later becoming the abbot. As the abbot of the Canons of St Rufus in Avignon, Nicholas gained a reputation as a strict disciplinarian, and Pope Eugenius III really admired this, so he called him to Rome and appointed him a cardinal. Upon his appointment as a cardinal, Eugenius III sent Nicholas to Scandinavia. In Scandinavia, he was to reorganise the church and establish religious power. He was very successful here, and he established the Scandinavian church upon the same lines as it was in Europe, making the church the centre of life, a power in the two countries, Norway and Sweden. He also re-established monarchical power in these two countries, as there was some dispute going over the power of the monarchy. Nicholas returned from Scandinavia in 1154 with a glowing reputation. He had been very successful in Scandinavia. He returned to find the death of Pope Anastasius IV, and his reputation is something that allowed him to be elected Pope. When he was elected, Nicholas chose the name Adrian and became Pope Adrian IV. Adrian came to the papal throne at a very difficult time for the church. Frederick Barbarossa was marching to Italy to demand an imperial coronation to become the Holy Roman Emperor, and Arnold of Brescia was being a nuisance for the papacy. To deal with Arnold, Adrian placed an interdict over the city of Rome. This interdict forbid all religious services except essential ones. He told the people of Rome that for the interdict to be lifted, they had to remove Arnold from the city. This interdict lasted until Wednesday of the Holy Week, where the people knew that the Pope was not going to budge, so removed Arnold. Adrian also decided to allow Frederick Barbarossa his imperial coronation, but in return for the capture and imprisonment of Arnold. We do not know when Arnold died, but we feel that around this time he was executed. Frederick Barbarossa, at his imperial coronation, did not properly follow procedure. He did not hold the stirrups for Adrian. Therefore, Adrian refused to give Frederick Barbarossa the imperial kiss. So the procedure had to be done again. So the coronation was repeated, this time properly, to anoint Frederick the Holy Roman Emperor. The coronation of Frederick led to the papacy and the city of Rome being in direct conflict. The Romans did not want Barbarossa as their king, and Barbarossa was very clear that he would not be following precedent with the city of Rome. However, Adrian anointed Frederick before the city of Rome could prevent the coronation. King William of Sicily also decided to enter this conflict, and this was an attempt to gain more land and power. He managed to achieve this successfully through a treaty with the Pope. However, this treaty angered Frederick, as he thought that Pope Adrian had told him that he was not going to enter into any kind of friendship or relationship with William. To explain these treaties and relationships between the papacy, Barbarossa and King William, the Pope Adrian, referred to both of these temporal leaders as vassals of the papacy. This angered Barbarossa, of course, but this clearly set in stone that Adrian was attempting to assert the supremacy of the papacy. Now, Pope Adrian was English, but we know that he spent very little time in England growing up. But despite this, one of his biggest European supporters and backers was King Henry II of England. Pope Adrian decided to return this support by issuing the papal bull Laudabiliter, which gave King Henry the papal right to conquer Ireland. In 1159, Adrian was struck with a bout of angina and later died on the 1st of September. He had a very short papacy, which was just under 5 years. Now, was Adrian a good pope? Now, Adrian was a better pope than most of his predecessors. He stood up and protected Italy. He also re-established the prestige and power of the papacy. However, he is not a very memorable pope, as some of his predecessors were more renowned. But he was still a good pope nonetheless. He is also an important pope because he guided the papacy through a difficult period and established trends and precedents such as papal power that would define the papacy for the next 200-300 years. Now, thank you very much for watching this final episode of the Pope series. I chose to do Pope Adrian not because he was a great pope, not because he was a bad pope or so on, but because he is an unheard voice in history. Also, because I'm English, he is an English pope, so he is naturally someone who I feel I have a slight affinity towards. To research this episode, of course, you know which books I'm going to recommend. I'm going to recommend John Jules Norwich, The Popes: A History. Again, a great book. I cannot recommend this book enough. Just get this if you want to learn about the popes. And secondly, A History of Christianity by Diarmaid MacCulloch. This is a great book if you want to know about the history of Christianity. And thank you very, very much for watching this series and watching my videos. I really, really appreciate it. If you want to keep up with some of my content, please head to my social medias, which will be in the description below, and my website, which is www.historywithjackson.co.uk. On the website, you can find all my academic work, you can find all my videos, and listen to my podcast and my podcast appearances as well. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you guys next week.